You're watching Backstreet Gossip, news talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Ron Ludders. Now, let's return to the show.
Welcome back. Ray, that was a great interview, but I didn't know you were a dwarf.
I was a dwarf.
A dwarf?
Oh yeah. Oh,
tall.
you mean
He was very tall.
Well, I was standing in a hole.
Oh,
he was on a box,
okay.
so it's.
Yeah, he's a tall gentleman.
He is.
As they say, tall cup of tea, isn't it?
Good-looking boots too.
Oh yeah, he has great boots, high heel boots. That's what. At any rate, he's a great candidate, and I love some of the things he said. At any rate, welcome back to the show. We're in our second segment here, and we have a gentleman you've seen on before, and it's Micajah Jackson. And some of you might have known his great-great-great-grandfather or uncle. Or
I think it would have been like a second or third cousin.
And that was Andrew?
Yep.
He was the President of the United States.
I remember.
So you remember?
Yes.
I didn't know you were that
I
old.
learned that at school, didn't you?
At any rate, he has signed on with us as a correspondent, and he has gone out into the field because there's a lot of things been going on in Arizona, as you know. As I hope everybody out there knows. It's been going on across the U.S., and that is this they're wearing masks, getting vaccines. Is this disease here to stay? Is it going away? What's the
Well,
what's going on?
and a lot of things going around in the state. Over the weekend, there were several different events that happened. I happened to attend one of them, which was an appreciation for the grassroots conservative. And I know that you were there too, weren't you? Did you go to that one?
Yeah.
There's always several events going on all around. We try to hit them all. It's impossible.
And
There's
I
no way you
got
can.
I got an award.
Well, you got recognition.
And you,
Senator,
you got the award, but I got the recognition because you didn't bring it in.
Well, no, it wasn't an award. Senator Kelly Townsend had mentioned 3 people that have been instrumental in the grassroots movement for
Patriots of the decade.
Of the decade? I don't know. I thought it was for the week.
Patriot of the week? No, it was Patriot of the century.
Anyway, she was so kind. She mentioned Ron was one of them. And I had to go up and accept this little basket.
Accepting for Ron Ludders.
Accepting the award for Ron. That's right. Ron was very, very busy. I think you were, wasn't it a bath day? I
was trying to fix a bad boat that a roof had fallen on because of the storm we had the other night. At any rate, MJ had an opportunity this weekend to try his good fortunes and going out into the field and actually doing a couple of interviews and try camera and microphone. And so tell us what we're going to look at first here. Mr. DeSante, get ready. He's going to tell us what his first interview was. Go ahead.
Well, the first video was it's the anti-vaxxer protesters outside the Phoenix Children's Hospital down here in downtown Phoenix off East Thomas Road.
So a little bit of background. Right now, the hospitals are mandating that all of their employees get vaccinated. And a lot of the nurses, a lot of the PAs, a lot of the people who are employed there, they said, look, we're a free nation. We want to choose. We have HIPAA guidelines. We don't have to tell you if we have the vax or not. We want to do our own thing, and you can't force us to do this. So they're outside. They're protesting. Big turnout there?
I was actually, they're starting to get bigger now. I've been to a couple already, and they're getting bigger. And now I'm seeing a lot more nurses turn out. They're wearing their uniform and they're speaking out. They're not having this. They're very upset, And each time they have these protests at a different hospital or different spot around town, it's just getting bigger.
Now remember, this is it's a company, so they can attempt to mandate this. But the governor, again, it was breaking news just this afternoon that Governor Doug Ducey here in Arizona has said that it's an executive order to limit local vaccine mandates for government, state, county, city employees. So you want to watch that?
In other words, they don't have to have
They do not have to
You
have
cannot
them.
make them do it. And of course,
as a condition of employment.
And of course, we talk about abortion, and it's a woman's body, and it's her right have an abortion.
Yeah,
but
my
it's-
body, my choice.
Right, but the government doesn't seem to feel that way. It's not your body, your choice.
I think it's
your
selective.
body.
It's very selective.
It is.
You know?
And some states do, some states don't. The federal government is requiring it of our military. And as you know, the head of the Marines said, you're not going to vaccinate our Marines.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't hear that.
And as Marines, we're happy.
Yep, yes, we are.
All right, so Neil, do you have that
What do you
set
have?
up?
Just a bunch of parents, nurses, with their signs protesting right outside the hospital. They don't want the forced vaccination. Let the staff and employees choose for themselves, freedom of choice.
It's very surprising because they were our frontline workers, and when people were coming in with symptoms of COVID or positive COVID tests, they treated them. They were there. They've been exposed to this. Natural immunity, I think all the studies that have been done, natural immunity is the best way
Yes.
to fight any type of illness.
There's
Yet
a study, Sweden passed herd immunity just a year ago. That was in Sweden.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just common knowledge that the human body is designed to fight off these viruses, and there's billions of viruses with us all the time. Our body is constantly fighting this off. They were physically exposed to it, so they have the antibodies. Why do they find it necessary to force that?
Well, Ray,
we don't know.
a miracle has happened last year. There are no more viruses for flu or common cold.
Yeah, and you know what's surprising?
Everything is
Is
COVID.
that influenza is a coronavirus.
This is.
And SARS and MERS is a coronavirus. And you know what? COVID 1, 2, and 19, they're all coronaviruses. It's so amazing. I don't
Ray,
know if Dr. Fauci knows about that.
Give our typical disclaimer.
Oh yes, we just present to you. We don't prevent. We present to you the facts that we know and the research that we've done. But you know what? We don't ask anybody to listen to us. We actually ask you, don't believe us. Go and do the research yourself. Go out and make your own conclusion. We've made our conclusion. You make your own conclusion. All
Okay,
right, so
you've got a couple of
Yeah.
others. What's the next one?
So I interviewed a nurse. Her name was Emily, and she was out there. She's been a nurse for 5.5 years. And I found out, too, is these hospitals, they're understaffed already, and they're going to force these. And I personally talked to other people, too. They're trying to make them voluntary quit. Don't voluntary quit. You make them fire you if you're going to try to enforce a vaccine on you. And they're already understaffed.
So they're given an option. Get the vaccine or you can quit.
Yep. They don't want to fire them.
Right, because if they fire them, then
they will
there's
have to
lawsuits.
pay them.
Yeah, so stick it out. Hang out.
Just hang in there.
Relax. Cuidado.
Okay, what do we got next?
What do we have?
Yep, the
Neil?
interview with Emily.
Good evening. I'm Micajah Jackson with Hub Radio Phoenix. We're out here in downtown Phoenix. Who would I have the pleasure of speaking to with today?
My name's Emily.
Emily, what a gorgeous name. Now, how long have you been a nurse, Emily?
Almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years. Almost 5 years. I love that. Now, tell me, why are we out here today?
Because all the hospitals in Arizona are mandating the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, on their employees.
That's pretty awful. I know we have liberty and our own choice. We're about pro-choice. Just leave the staff and the nurses alone. Let us make the decision. If they want to make you wear a mask, okay, but the vaccine, you're going to force a vaccine that hasn't been FDA approved. That's pretty awful.
Yeah, it's pretty awful, especially when all the hospitals are currently understaffed, especially nurses. PCH, actually, we can't even staff our patients currently with the amount of nurses that we have right now. So the fact that hospitals have the nerve to threaten to fire employees and nurses because we won't get an experimental vaccine is quite disgusting. It just shows how little they care about their employees and about the patients.
Wow, that's breaking news to me. I didn't even know they were doing that. Understaffed? wow, they're just making it worse for themselves. Wow. Well, you know what, Emily? I appreciate it. God bless America, and let's have a great night. All right.
Okay, hey, nice interview. And then we still have.
Is that an official uniform that you were wearing? That was great, fanny pack and all.
Well, we're a low-budget radio station. That's all we could afford is a Bermuda shorts and a shirt.
Who was filming that for you?
I just found random guys, I would ask them. I have my tripod, but I haven't really pulled it out yet, so I would just ask people nicely, hey, can you hold my phone? And
that's not volunteers.
Yep.
That's great. All right, we got one more here.
Oh yeah, so Bram Resnick, NBC 12 host for local Phoenix News, does political commentary.
Local liberal.
Yep.
Local, he's a Canadian, moved down here, has quite the outspoken personality, became an American citizen, and that's the way it's supposed to be. He never misses a beat to be critical of a conservative. And why don't you tell us which one is him? Because if you've seen him on the TV, he's always in a suit and tie, and here he's not. So
even that. The reason why we started pressing him is he wasn't saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and he was just standing there when Kerry was trying to get him to say it. So he refused to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and he was just sitting there harassing Kerry Lake the whole time.
Okay,
this is a new American citizen, and he would not say the Pledge of Allegiance.
So this is on the ASU campus. Right?
Yes.
This was Kerry Lake's event. Kerry Lake is...
I think it was the ASU Republicans event, but she was...
she's running for governor.
Yeah, she was invited to go speak, so she went to go speak, but yes.
All right, so let's take a look at this one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge of allegiance.
Incubator on your face is a toxic. People in Spanish will die from the pneumonia from the face, man.
Why are you harassing women? Graham, why are you harassing women?
Why are you harassing a woman?
Pledge of allegiance.
Why are you harassing a woman?
Why are you harassing? Now you stop. Look at that.
Leave Carrie alone.
Leave Carrie alone.
Leave Carrie alone.
Why are you harassing women, Bram?
Don't harass women. Leave Carrie alone.
Why don't you say the Pledge of Allegiance? Carrie, why can't you answer? She's not going to talk to a communist.
Commies ain't welcome here.
Why don't you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, Bram?
Commies ain't welcome here. No commies allowed. America first. America first.
Why don't you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Why do you hate America? Why do you harass women?
Jordan, choose a better path.
Choose a better
your
path.
life.
Okay. That's funny. It's funny coming from you, Graham. Liar. Shake. Holding the camera. Yeah.
Okay, and that was the great, fearless Bram Resnick of Channel 12.
Wow. And that was Jordan Conradson.
Yep. He looked a little like a wimp in that, I thought. But at any rate,
I like the mustache. and you now have a mustache too.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm connected. Me and Jordan are pretty connected. I've been trying to get him on here.
He's Jordan will come on. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Okay, well, I want to change gears here, and we can talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, the Pino, the person in charge of the presidency.
Well, he was on vacation.
He was. In all fairness, he was on vacation.
He was
when the
he's been
Afghanistan
working hard
thing went down
up to 11 o'clock in the day, and then he.
Yeah, you're right. So he's the Pino, president in name only, and. We have a disaster on our hands, a political disaster.
Worse than Benghazi.
And this guy has been a disaster ever since the election, even before the election. It's amazing that the American people voted for him, or did they? We won't go there at the moment.
Everything was handed to him.
About.
Border security was handed to him.
And it was under control.
Energy independence was handed to him.
Under President Trump.
The negotiations with Afghanistan,
under control.
It was under control. All these things were under control. The economy was under control. Unemployment was under control. All these things were just handed to him. You know, we have some breaking news. If you watch the show on Wednesdays, we always have Josh Bernstein from joshbernsteinuncensored.com, and he had a little breaking news. Can we play for that? Could we play that right now?
Yep. Might need to turn the volume up a little bit on its voice. Hello, Josh.
Well, he'll be on in a minute. He talked a little bit about what is going on in Afghanistan and what a disaster. This is not just a simple mistake. When they're ordering take down the American flags, CNN reported today that they're chanting death to America, and the reporter from CNN said, yeah, they're chanting death to America, but they all seem really nice. They
seem like
strange.
Nice people.
They seem like nice people.
They've been executing people that were friends of America and are friendly with America,
but in a friendly way.
They've been taking their heads and chopping them off, and this is one of the absolute disasters. I have never seen anything like this. I've seen some of the pictures, people rushing to get out of there.
Well, you know, they were taking helicopters off the roof.
Okay, he found.
Let's take a look.
The tape.
First and foremost, 2,442. 2,442 American soldiers have died in Afghanistan. 20,717. That's how many soldiers have been wounded in Afghanistan. It is the longest war on record in U.S. history. And it's not just the soldiers that were affected, of course. Grandmothers, grandfathers, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, children, friends, communities. Everyone has been affected by the loss of soldiers and or soldiers coming home, mutilated, missing limbs, PTSD, you name it. So then you have to ask yourself, why? And for what? Did these soldiers die in vain because of a stolen election? Let's call it what it is. Everything that's happening right now in Afghanistan never would have happened if President Trump, who won the election handedly, was allowed to serve right now. And so this was a strategic takeover. You cannot say this any other way, okay? And I'm not even talking about the Taliban right now. I'm talking about a communist takeover of the United States of America. And it didn't matter whether you were a Republican or a Democrat, because the bottom line was we have to get rid of Trump. We don't care about the people that support him. We don't care about all the amazing things that he's done for the American people. We hate him so much that we're going to have a communist takeover. And we don't care who it is. And that's the sad part. Because it's not about Democrats won and Republicans lost. No, it's basically what I said leading up to the election. This election was Trump or death. I said it was mathematically impossible for Biden to win the election unless he stole it. And I've said that numerous times. If you can find my old videos, which again are hard to do, you'll have to just take my word for it. They're out there. That's what I said. Now, this is absolutely, without a doubt, Biden's Vietnam. Okay? This will go down in history as the worst political, geopolitical, foreign mistake, oversight, debacle, whatever you want to call it. This will go down in history as likely number one, okay? Way worse than Vietnam, mainly because it's the longest war in U.S. history. So brave American soldiers, think about this for 1 second, went to Afghanistan, went to Iraq, went to the Middle East, and they fought and died for the Afghani people and the Iraqi people to hold their fingers up in the air with purple ink on them and be able to vote in a free and fair election. Yet we as Americans here cannot have that right because it was taken from us.
Pretty true, Ray. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. They took the flag down over the weekend, I guess, over the American embassy. And when I say the flag, I mean there were 3 flags over the American embassy. One, the United States of America flag, the stars and stripes. The second one was the gay flag, the rainbow flag. And the third flag was Black Lives Matter. Now, what kind of a president would allow those flags to fly over a United States embassy in a foreign country? That in itself was sick, Mr. Biden. There's something wrong with either you or your administration or both. Secondly, I listened to that. Did you see that today? Did you see that fiasco discussion that he gave to the American people?
I did, yes.
It was all a teleprompter. And what did he do? He said nothing. Except, I think it's Trump's fault, is what he said.
Yeah, he doubled down and said, you know what, this was my decision. There's no good way to get out. This was going to happen. Although just weeks before, he said there's 350,000 trained troops, that it's very unlikely that anything like this is going to happen. And he basically blamed the Afghan people for not fighting back.
And who are now being butchered by the Taliban.
Yeah, if it was my choice to either fight back or be beheaded, I'd probably fight back because at least you have a chance. You know, I can't see that them with our presence there for 20 years and them being trained. I mean, MJ, you come from a military background.
He was a United States Marine.
So as a Marine, you have things that are drilled into you, literally, that you eat, sleep, drink these sayings and these foundational skills. Do you see that if somebody's trying to come after you, that you're just going to drop your weapons and run in another direction?
No, they'd be neutralized.
Yeah. So we're training them for 20 years. Do you think, I mean, is that an easy sell to say that these people that we've trained would just drop their weapons and run?
Yeah, no, it's awful. They should have been fighting, but I already knew from day one they were never gonna. As soon as we left, they were just gonna bail. Because when I was in the Marine Corps, I would always listen to my my higher ups, my officers, my platoon sergeants, and they would tell me the Afghanis aren't worth a damn. Like, you train them, they just don't know what's going on. They don't want to fight. They just want America to do it all for them.
You know, I wanted to say a couple of things. If you saw it, you notice the president just turned around and marched off the stage without a question.
Well, he's not allowed to. He can get in a lot of trouble.
Well,
what
of course
about
he can.
Jen Psaki taking the week off too?
And his press secretary.
I thought it was very appropriate time. That's the best time, right? We've been there for 20 years.
Talk about talk about free speech in America. It's dead. I mean, let's face it. Look at what they did. No questions from the press under something that is as startling as this. This is a world crisis, in my opinion.
Well, there were muffins that were coming out of the oven, and he didn't want to miss out.
It was disingenuous. Now, there's a question that I have asked for years, and let's discuss it real quick. Up until recently, I thought the worst president in the United States history was Woodrow Wilson. And he still holds a very special place for being the most racist president in the United States.
Because we have different categories for this.
Yes.
I mean, because he was very competent in doing what he wanted to do.
Except he was a racist.
Right, he was very much a racist. But some people are known to be more incompetent. They just didn't have the ability to lead.
So in my lifetime, let's talk about a couple of people. I'm going to nominate the following. I'm going to nominate Jimmy Carter.
Oh, but he's such a nice guy.
I know, he's just a nice guy. I'm going to nominate Barack Obama.
Barry?
And I'm going to nominate Joseph Biden. Emphasis on Joseph. And today, I think Jimmy Carter looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember the inflation rates. I remember the interest rates. I remember the gasoline the amount, how it jumped so high. I mean,
But
that
here-
was a
here's
horrible
Here's what's
time.
really going on. Everybody knows that Biden is not the president of the United States. Who is?
I mean, you saw the FBI come off that the news over the weekend now that they're deeming people a domestic terrorist because they believe the election was stolen. If you don't think President Biden's the president.
Yeah, Department of Homeland Security.
And here's what I'm thinking. The real president of the United States is. It's
in his
not,
third term.
It's not Joseph.
It's his third term.
Da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Barack Obama.
Well, he was in an interview, and he said, I wish that I could just be in a little basement somewhere and just, pulling the strings and making things happen and not be out in front of the public. That would be my dream job. Well, congratulations, you got your dream job.
Ray, one of the things, of course, we have been criticized for talking about the virus and so forth, and it was Barack Obama's birthday last week, and he had a big party, 500 guests, 200 servants, and they weren't wearing masks.
Yeah, but it was a sophisticated party, and if anybody actually got or the COVID virus tried to come to them, the virus would know how sophisticated everybody was, and so it wouldn't bother them. So, I mean, everybody knows that once you reach a certain height,
He was actually
the
selling.
virus doesn't bother you anymore.
He was selling weed that day too at the party. I saw videos on
selling weed.
Yeah, the chauffeur, the person taking him to the house, the property, he was handing out joints and giving him weed. He had weed already ready. They were drinking expensive alcohol.
Now, were they the really thin ones, or were they the big fat ones?
They were just rolled up, and they just had bags of
Stogies?
weeds. Yeah, so they.
And do we know what brand?
Yeah, I think it was cookies. I was wanting
Chocolate chip.
Oh my goodness gracious! That's what it smelled like.
Don't eat the cookies. Any rate, so this is terrible. I've read again this evening, just before the show, that there are still hundreds of thousands of Americans that has still not even gotten to the airport to be airlifted out by U.S. Air Force personnel.
And these are American citizens.
Yep.
American citizens.
All right.
But they flew refugees first.
And they
I
decided,
saw them climbing
they
on that
decided that they
planes
were
and-
going to take refugees before American citizens. Another good decision by
Who decided this?
the administration, the Biden administration.
It's need prayers over there. It's bad.
And then I read again that the British still have 40,000 of their, I don't know if there's troops or just personnel there.
So it's so strange to me that you had a lot of other countries involved in this. Wouldn't we all get together and make decisions together in how to support?
Under President Trump, that would be the case. This was unilateral. They pulled all the this is amazing. They pulled the troops out before they got the American citizens out, and now they've sent troops back in. I've heard that they have sent out as many, and I don't have this confirmed,
What,
but as many
6,000?
as 6,000 American troops are back in Afghanistan. So we bailed out, and then we left almost $1 trillion. I heard. Maybe it wasn't trillion.
No, $1 trillion was spent.
$100 billion in equipment that was left behind.
Well, yeah, you see it in videos. They're holding M4s. They're holding our Humvees. They got our tow missiles. They got our jets now. They got all U.S. military gear. And who knows what information and government paperwork they got in these offices now. They got everything. And these guys are...
And the Chinese, I heard, are moving in to pick up a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
For
And
intelligence.
you know what? We paid for all that. We paid for it.
Yeah.
That's our equipment. I mean, if we were going to leave, wouldn't we take our equipment home with us?
Well, they said it was not economical to take it, but it was probably
Marines
economical to blow it
We're
up.
always
Well,
getting
yeah. I
nothing
mean,
else.
if we're going to leave it, destroy it, right?
So that they can't use it against their people. Now, I have a whole litany of things I wanted to say, but we have another guest that's in the studio.
Can
and
you
we've
just
gotta
say it
get to
really
him.
fast?
So, no, it's just to any rate, I just wanted, well, there are a couple things that I did want to say about the Biden administration. Thank you for the record high murder rates in the United States, Mr. Biden.
No, it's only a few cities.
Thank you
Come
for the
on.
record high home prices so that people can't afford homes now.
Only in a few cities.
And thanks a lot for 5.5% inflation in 1 month.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's only for the rich
It's
people.
just for the rich people. And thank you for all that you've done by the artwork of Hunter Biden and his relationship with the CCP.
I have some of his artwork hanging up on my fridge with the little magnets because that's how good it is.
Wow.
If that was Trump kids,
Did you get it out of the
it'd be a
kindergarten
different
class
story.
too?
No, the kindergarten was better, but I put it next to it.
Okay, so you have a total mismanagement of the economy.
How about the border?
And the pandemic. Well, that's one of the other things. That's one of the other things we're going to do yet.
But the DHS said that if you question how COVID is being handled, or if you question the election, that you could be a domestic terrorist.
Now, isn't what the Democrats call democracy a beautiful thing? Now, let me tell you about democracy versus constitutional republic. The Taliban came to power. That was a democracy.
Yep.
Well, it's mob rule.
So a democracy fails every time.
It's mob
True democracies do not work. That's why we have a constitutional republic in the United States, and the Democrat Party is doing their best to wipe that out and eliminate it so that we have, Ray, we got 1 million or 2 million people crossing the border, bringing disease, bringing criminal. We talked about that in the last with Karen. I don't know what to say. I mean, who in their right mind would open the border up and let people bring COVID into their country? Tell me, what country in the world? The United States of America.
Yeah, they're not only doing that, but they're bringing drugs in, and they're bringing
fentanyl.
Fentanyl's bad.
Yeah, they're bringing in slave labor. They're bringing in indentured servitude. They're bringing in children that where do they go? They go into a system and then they're lost.
And they're not even Hispanic children too. There's Alex Jones. I saw a video. Alex Jones went to go cover these areas. They had a little 5-year-old blonde blue hair boy by himself walking into one of these refugee camps. Where is the little boy with blonde and blue hair walking in over the border? There's no other reason besides sex trafficking.
Yeah. It's terrible.
And all of this is absolutely amazing to me.
But it seems to be okay with them because they think that a democracy and the Democratic Party are synonymous.
Yes. Now, today, I got on earlier on the air and I told my conclusion to this, okay? As a senior citizen of the United States and a student of American history, and I'm calling on the president to resign. He has to resign in disgrace, but he doesn't. We don't have to disgrace him. He just has to resign.
Take care of his health.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, push this issue. You call your legislators, okay? You call your Congress people. You call your senators, and yes, call the White House and ask or demand that this man resign. Now, that's the nice part. If he doesn't do it, we must impeach him. No question about it. The man is incapable. It's sad. He is incapable. He has embarrassed the United States, and tens of thousands of people are going to be killed over this.
You're a student of history. How does this make us look on the world stage?
We're getting laughed at.
If you were a country seeking American aid, and they came to your aid, and then in your time of need they said, "Adios, amigo." They pulled out and left all these people
And my
there.
question is, why would they say that in Spanish?
Because I don't know how to speak Afghani. So the other thing, okay, resignation, 1, impeachment, 2, the 25th Amendment, 3. Now, what does that leave us with? Kamala Harris. Are you kidding me? Okay, so let's do the same thing. Who's next in line?
Look.
Nancy Pelosi. Are you kidding me? Folks, elections have consequences. Did anybody think about this before this happened? A lot of us did, but some of you ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's a good time to go for a break.
I know
You need to break your blood pressure.
I know
you
my
gotta take
blood
some
pressure's
medication.
out of sight. So remember that. Call and get rid of this guy. He's a disaster. See you on the other side.